All right, what's up, everybody? This is week number, God knows what, of our nostalgia chat. Is this number 5 or 6, or what are we? What are we at now?
Are we at 6 now? We might
I
be.
should know because I'm editing all these episodes. But speaking of which, we're doing these live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. You can watch them live on twitch.tv/Revival House, or of course the YouTube channel. But the previous week that we recorded live always goes up the following week on Tuesdays, if that makes sense. So basically, if you're listening to this today, our recording last week went live on YouTube, where we discussed getting into trouble. Bom, bom, bom. This week, that was like a Tom Wiseau laugh. What the fuck was
Yeah.
that? Ha ha.
Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, guys. I might sound
Ha.
nasally, but
Hi,
sorry.
Danny. Ha ha.
Oh,
Exactly.
wait.
Todd's all professional. No, and this week we decided to change up the tone a little bit and be a little bit more lighthearted. We're going to talk about our favorite VHS covers, and somebody pitched it in the listenership. I don't remember who did, but it was a great topic, and that stat keeps growing. We got tons of stuff we want to get to, so we'll just sort of shake it up, get to everything week by week. I see Riverman's kid. But anyway, yeah, before we get it started, yeah, last week I know Plemke, my mom didn't call, but she was listening, which that made it a lot of fun. She was like, "Oh, I wish I had a picture of your face and how red you were." I'm like, I mean, screenshots are a thing, but
Yeah, how long was she listening for? That's pretty
the
funny.
whole time,
The whole time? Wow.
Yeah. What's up, Max in the chat? Anyway, we're gonna go and get started. Uh, Before we get started and actually talking about these VHS covers, by the way, our favorite VHS covers, and basically, do the contents actually live up to the hype of the cover, right? And there's no real rules to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be our favorite movies.
No.
It could be a movie that baited us into buying it or renting it, and we're like, what the fuck is this shit? Or it could be a movie that you maybe don't even have like that much experience with, right?
Yep. Yep.
Necessarily, but
Yep.
you just remember that art.
They caught your
So
eye. Yep.
something about that. But before we do that, we like to always talk about what's new for the week, just kind of shoot the breeze a little bit. Maybe we picked up some new things, movies, games. It doesn't matter. Todd's obviously sick. So what else is going on with you besides that?
Oh no, I'm not terrible, but I don't know. But lately, over the weekend, I watched Hocus Pocus 2. That was pretty much it. Average, you know.
Yeah, I watched that too, and I feel I was wondering if it was going to be one of those situations like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, right? Where I don't really know how it's being received. I think people are liking it, and I think I don't know. Are people hating it? Are people thinking it's good? I don't know. In general, because I feel like with these movies that were beloved because they were watched when you were a certain age, whenever they come out with a sequel decades later, the people that don't like them, it's really without merit, because it reminds me of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I remember watching those movies unbiased through an adult filter because I had never seen any of them. And when that movie was coming out in theaters, me and my buddy at the time, we had bought tickets to see it. He wanted me to go to see it with him, and then he made me sit down and have a marathon with him. He's like, "We've never seen any of these movies." You know how those people are. And so I did. We watched all 3 movies. We spent a day doing it, and then literally 30 minutes after we were done with the last one, we had to leave to go see the 4th one. So I literally watched all 4 for the first time, back to back to back to back in one day. And people hate that 4th one, but I was like, it's just more Indiana Jones.
The fourth one isn't bad. No, it's not
But
too
I'm
bad.
like, but for me, I watched all of them at the same time for the first time, and I'm like, it's just more Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But that's just the difference, is like these people are not kids anymore, and they're watching this stuff. I watch Hocus Pocus 2, and I'm like, it's more Hocus Pocus,
Yeah,
and
it's fine.
I was kind of surprised of the quality, in the sense that I kind of thought it was going to be really shitty, but no, to me it was on par with the first one. Like, it seems like the production value of the first one.
And they did
You
the
know,
throwbacks and everything like that.
yeah, all
So
that stuff. It was sequelitis and stuff, and I'm like, if you like the first one, I don't see how you're not going to like this one. And for me, it was middle of the road because I don't think the first one's great. It never really hit for me, but I'm like, yeah. So if anybody doesn't like this one, I don't know what you really wanted. But anyway, as far as pickups, last week I really blew my wad because I had so much shit and we went really long. But this week, Well, we mentioned last week that I think we mentioned it on the show that we had made some big orders with Shout Factory, their Shocktober sale. Did we talk about that? I don't remember if we talked about it on the show, but
Talk about it yet?
Shocktober, yeah, annual Shocktober sale is going on right now, and for the first time in probably 5 years, they actually have some really good deals. Todd and I and a bunch of our cronies ended up getting a whole bunch of stuff. I was excited when I saw that a package was delivered today, but then I was immediately disappointed when it was only one thing. It was like
Why
an
the hell would they
envelope.
ship one thing?
You know, you that used to they would delay your order of fucking 20 things
I'd
for
rather have them
one
do
thing,
that.
but they would do that. No, it just depends. If they have 19 of 20 things you ordered and they're just waiting on one, no, in that case, send me the fucking
Yeah,
19 and we'll
yeah.
wait.
But
But
still.
they sent me one thing out of a pretty big order. But it's a cool one that I want to talk about, and I have a funny story about it too. So this is the only thing I got. This is Women's Prison Massacre. I love this art. This, if I would have saw this when I was a kid, this might have made the cut. It's pretty cool, man. Look, you see the
Yeah.
upskirt shot. You see oh, you can't see it. That guy getting grabbed behind the bars, dude. It's gonna be a women in prison movie, I'm sure. I've never seen it. It's gonna be probably tit for tat by the numbers. There's gonna be a crooked warden, either involved in pimping out the cellmates or drug peddling. There's um there's going to be a rival gang, probably with some big butch lesbian, and they're probably going to settle their differences to take on a common threat, the man, and take over the prison. I mean, they're all beat by beat the same. If you've seen Chained Heat, you've kind of seen them all, I think. But I don't care; they're fun. Anyway, I remember. I think we did talk about this on the last show because when I was talking to my mother when she said she was watching this, she was like, she was literally snapping at me from outside the window because she's always smoking, right? And I was like, "What?" And I go out there. She's like, "You got Women's Prison Massacre?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." I want to see that. Like, what? And I'm it's like, "Oh yeah, I watched that back in the day." Like, what?
Oh my
Like,
god.
you watch this sleazy fucking exploitation grindhouse women in prison movie? She's like, "Yeah, I saw that back in the day," like one of those late night movies. She just saw it, whatever. And she's like, "I
Oh.
want to watch that." I'm like, "Well, you're gonna watch it without me because I don't want to watch this with my mom." and I showed it to her today, and she's like, "That's it." Like, God, all
Oh
right.
my gosh.
So fucking bizarre. But I said if Todd was here, we could all watch it together, and that'd be
Oh,
pretty
that'd be
fucking funny.
that'd be hysterical, man. I'd love it.
Anyway, I thought that was ridiculous, and that's why I called you that night. I called you right after we finished recording, so I was like, I had to tell you because I couldn't believe it. I had to get her to reiterate, like, are you sure this fucking movie? Like, are you sure you're not talking about something else? Anyway, really, really funny stuff. But that's what he's saying. Show it. He wants to see the cover, Mac. All right. Never mind the glare. I haven't opened it up yet. Right? She's wearing like a nightie. It looks like a nightie,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't know they had 90s in women's prison, but it's a 90 and there's like a guy, I
Is
just love these
Linda Blair in that one?
no, she's not
No,
in
she's
this
not.
one.
Okay.
But anyway, pretty light week as far as that stuff goes, but it should be since we had such a large showing last week. But hopefully if this stuff keeps coming in, we'll have more stuff to show in the coming weeks. But it sounds like I guess Shout Factory has multiple distribution centers now. And
Oh, okay.
so I read in the fine print of my order that they'll be coming from all over the place basically. So probably
Gotcha.
different times, but it is what it is. So I guess we're gonna go and get started.
Oh, I got a few
On the
things actually.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. Well,
Yeah,
no one
no,
gives a
that's
shit, Todd. I'm just kidding.
no, that's fine. Uh, I might have already showed you this stuff, but picked up a couple of vinyl. These were on sale at Walmart
Oh, my mom's in the
online.
chat. Yeah, that's right, Mom. I did
Hey,
get the loot
Denise.
box.
Hey,
All right.
Denise. These
will
couple
show
of these
that.
were on sale at Walmart. You already have them, but it's the Opeth Watershed, the MOV.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
It sounds amazing. Highly recommend it.
MOV
And,
stands for Music on Vinyl. They,
yeah,
they're a great label.
packaging, sound quality. The other one's the Ghost Reveries Opeth. Those are both
Oh,
on sale. So,
I was telling you need to get that. You never listened to that one, did you?
oh, I listened to this one. This one, Watershed and Damnation were my favorites. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, and that one sounds just as great. Yeah, my mom is in the chat, and so let me go ahead and get the. She reminded me I have a loot box that came in, a long-awaited TMNT loot crate.
yeah, let's see that.
All right.
Cathedral organ music. Yeah, it's prog metal. So, It's if you're into metal, you're into progressive music. Yeah, check it out. Some good death metal screams. So
All right. So basically, the story about this whole loot crate thing is a couple years back. I bought uh it was through Lootbox, and it was a partnership through NECA, and they did this is like their second wave of turtle shit for the second year in a row. Basically, you could pay for a box per quarter a la carte. But if you bought all 4 quarters, all 4 boxes together, you would get a bonus box with an exclusive. And the way the TMNT stuff works is 1/4 box is going to be based on the movie. 1/4 box is going to be based on the Mirage comics. 1/4 box is based on the games, and one is based on the cartoons. So I think I'm still missing one more or two more, but basically they delayed like for like 2 years, and basically cheated a lot of people. But anyway, I got totally out of sequence. I was supposed to get the exclusive like at the end, but if you bought all 4, this is one of the no, this is actually the 4th one in the regular box. This is Scrag. I don't know if you guys remember Scrag.
no.
He appeared in the first episode. See, he's got a little bat head. He was one of Bebop and Rocksteady's
Okay, I think I
cronies,
do know that
and they
is
just showed
the
up. He got
hair.
mutated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got mutated with everybody else, but he wasn't a main character or anything. But NECA's really milking this shit and creating toys for every obscure character, which they have Rex 1 finally coming out, Todd. I can't say no
Awesome,
to
dude.
I
I'd
can't
get that one.
it took them too long to come out with Rex 1, to be honest with you, but I can't
That's the
wait.
only one I'd get.
This was the exclusive, the Dark Turtle, because they had that episode where basically Donatello was like a vigilante, like a Batman type.
Yeah.
So, and I love how dirty the boxes are. Like they just they just came really disgusting. I have to clean them. A giant Irma figure, that would be cool, Plemke. And
Yeah.
those loot boxes come with a whole bunch of stuff. They come with like a bunch of novel stuff. Like they came with a New York City party wagon license
Oh, that's
plate.
cool.
Yeah, I've gotten like beanies. They usually come with a t-shirt. This time it was like cook themed, and I got like an apron of the pizza parlor in the cartoon for cooking, and then I got 2 oven mitts that are designed to look like the pizza monsters.
That's
So
sweet.
it's just a bunch of like silly stuff. Oh, like in a pin, right? I mean, most of the stuff I don't really care that much about, to be honest with you. But
Well, I hope that Rex one does come with Irma. They should be pretty much connected in that
they
box.
should. Well, they've released Irma before in different variants, but that that would be cool if they re-included her like in a 2-pack. But
Yeah.
I'd be down with that. But you basically pay double for it. I mean, it's not like you're going to get a deal, but still. Anyway, that's all I got. Did you have anything else you want to show, or did I interrupt you?
That's all I had this week. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into it, talking about our favorite VHS covers. I gotta admit, this one was kind of tough, just
Very.
because like I don't know, and the thing is I know I'm forgetting stuff. You might come up with some stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, that should be on my list. So I don't really think this is ironclad of a list. This is just what I kept pondering for a couple of days. This is what came to mind, and I probably missed some stuff, but and I could predict a couple of things that's going to be on yours, Todd.
This is I'm a little I've dug deep on some of these. So this is just my list. The ones that I'm in the video store and I see these movies, I rent them or they're out and I can't rent them that I still want to see. I have a few of those in there too. So it's
I'm
much a mixed bag for me.
I hopefully Todd did something similar, but I wanted to keep it to 10, just so we could balance the show, keep it paced well.
I got a lot of
And
honorable mentions though. Yes.
yeah, so I'm just gonna fire off my honorable mentions real quick and not really talk about them too much. If you want to, you can do yours too. So
Okay.
do you have 10 key ones though after that? Is that what you got?
It's hard to narrow these down.
You got to narrow it down. It would just be too easy and we'll ramble on forever. So
Can we do the ones we really want to talk about? Because I might change it up here in the middle of it, depending on what you do. So can we go
oh,
through the ones that we actually liked?
wait, the movies we actually liked?
No, go not do the honorable mentions first. Can we do those last?
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, just kind of see how we're doing for time.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll start keeping in with the theme of you don't necessarily have to like the movie. The contents didn't necessarily have to match. The first one I thought about was Ghoulies, because I used to love to see that fucking movie at the rental stores, man. You had the ghoulie coming out of the toilet, and I know like Ghoulies 2 was just sort of a variation of the same thing, right? You had 2 ghoulies there, but I have to give it to the original. It was so cool, very eye appealing to a little kid. Like, what is this little gremlin looking thing coming out of a toilet. And I never actually got to watch that when I was young. That's one of those ones I saw all the time, and it caught my eye, and I never got to rent it. I ended up watching it much later, and that movie is shit. It's not good. And if Mac's still in the chat, he might disagree with me, but I just don't think that first movie's good in particular. But the cover, ultimate example of a bait and switch, in my opinion. Because but really quick, the ghoulies aren't even in it. It literally is a bait and switch because the ghoulies are barely in the damn movie. They are literally tacked on to the plot. It's like they filmed everything. They filmed this really shitty story about this weird magician dude, and then they're like, "Hey, we got to market a ripoff of like Gremlins or something or whatever. Let's throw in these fucking creatures," and they just got shoehorned in. But anyway,
yeah. So one of mine, if you want to pop it up here in the, I have it ready, set, go.
oh, I got to do that.
Mine.
All right,
Amityville Curse. I love this cover as a kid. I think it's
that
still
is
awesome.
cool.
Shitty movie, but I remember renting it because the cover. Wasn't a huge fan of it, but man, that cover art is fucking awesome. I think.
I really hate that you're doing. We should have planned this better. Can I have my own screen too? Because I don't get to show any of mine. So he's gonna one up me here. But this is really cool.
You can have your own screen.
I should have had my own screen. I should have been more prepared. We're gonna do that going forward, though, Todd. Let's both do this, and we'll just kind of flip back and forth, and we'll do it for like records and everything.
Well,
else
if you want to send me your list, I can always pop them.
But I don't want to do that either.
Okay.
I want you to be surprised. I'll just do it like you're doing. But yeah, I've never actually seen this before. But
yeah, I remember renting it when I was a kid. It wasn't very good, but the cover art I just think it's bananas, dude. It's crazy.
It's hard, man. You got someone that hung himself by a tree. You got the Amityville house, and you got lightning striking. Not just lightning striking. That lightning is striking at dusk. It's not even night. It's really eye appealing. This is
creepy, dude.
This is obviously just one of the many exploits of the Amityville name. You know, the just abusing that name. Obviously, it's just public domain because Amityville it's just a city. It's just the name of a town. People can exploit that all they want. But I don't think I've ever seen this VHS, nor have I seen the movie. But I don't imagine it's very good.
I haven't seen it in probably 30 years, 35 years. So,
Plumky's asking how many Amityville movies there were. I mean, obviously, there was only so many official canon ones of the franchise that popularized all this. I think they just stopped at 3.
Yeah, I think this one came out in late 80s.
I don't even know. I don't even know if Amityville 4 counts, the one with Patty Duke, because I know it's called Amityville 4, but literally we could make a movie called Amityville and put 5 at the end of it, right? I think you could literally manipulate it because I don't think Amityville 4 is called Amityville Horror 4.
Yeah.
So they could easily just be cashing in on that shit, trying to fool people. But after that, there was so many. I mean, just Amityville Dollhouse. There's like Amityville dildos. There's all kinds of shit, dude. It's just really ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go to mine if you're done.
Yeah, go stop sharing that. Yep.
Yeah. I know how to drive, Todd. I got.
Okay,
this.
I'm just checking, baby. I'm just checking. Ease the tension, baby.
All right, so okay, so the next one is a good movie, and I've brought this up in the past, but I couldn't leave it off the list. I think out of the entire series, it's the greatest box art. It's up for debate if it's the best movie, but as far as what I used to see all the time and just really iconic, if I could have one sheet from any film in the series, it would have to be this one. That's Child's Play 2. I love that dude. He's got the big scissors, the big novelty scissors with the jack in the box. It was just so fetching, man. Way more fetching than the original, right? It's just the original was a little bit boring. I think the VHS was just that up close shot of his face, unlike the one sheet which had the building, the Aunt Maggie part, which was cool. But I think the VHS was just his face. And the third one's cool too, but it's just again another zoomed in close up of his face. Just something really neat about that shot with the puppet. And
it's iconic, man. It's one of those just grabs you, even if you're not like the biggest fan of the movie. I mean, it's fantastic. I'd love to have one sheet of that too.
Yeah, it's really good. So you can go on to your next one. Oh,
speaking of the one sheet, I
almost did it.
Army of Darkness one sheet. I love this cover compared to the one with Ash and on the other one, or the Bruce Campbell. This one
But
is just so freaking cool, dude.
is this actually the VHS though? Or is this a one sheet?
I think this is an alternate. So I
It,
remember seeing this in the stores on VHS, I believe. But this one is freaking
if this
awesome,
isn't
dude.
a VHS, this is cheating, Todd, because like for example, I'll just say it right now. I would have put Trick or Treat on here if we were going off the one sheet, but the one sheet's not the VHS cover. The VHS
Yeah,
covers
no, the VHS cover is the one with
it's a little
the one.
cheaper. It's not as good. They should just make but anyway, so if this is not is this cheating? This is even a picture of a poster, Todd. See, it's got the pins in there.
Well, I mean, this was a cover of a DVD too. Maybe it was a flip reverse cover art on a DVD,
No,
but
no, no. DVDs is breaking the rules. You were the one who pitched VHS. Judges, somebody in the chat, please debunk if this is a VHS or not, because I don't think it is. But because believe me, I went through all this myself. I'm like, God, so many of these movies have really awesome one sheets, but the VHS wasn't quite the same. And I thought about this one. So
yes, there is.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Uh, but I don't think it's U.S. I think it's Britain.
All right, we'll deal with that, but no more of this funny business. We're gonna let this one slide.
No, you can buy it. No, they have the limited number director's cut widescreen. So yes, it is. It's the director's cut.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So on to my next one, and I was really considering Army of Darkness, but like I said, I only had 10 spots. So I gave mine to Evil Dead 2. And I know Evil Dead's a little simpler, right, than what you guys just saw, and even the cover that we're used to seeing, where it's kind of very National Lampoons-ish, right? But Evil Dead 2, there's something about that VHS. That's the first one I ever saw. That's the first one we ever owned. And to me, there's nothing more striking than that big, bold skull with the eyeballs and the red Evil Dead font above it, over it. And it's a black colored VHS. It called you from 100 yards away in the store. You could see it and you could make it out more than you could like an Army of Darkness cover. It was just so in your face. And it doesn't even really represent the movie, which is funny, right? It's just, you know what I mean? It's just like a random skull. It doesn't have ash on it. You don't really know what you're getting in for.
It is, but it's iconic. Yeah, I love that cover. I think it's fantastic with the eyeballs and everything looking
And
at you.
if I could have one sheet, I would have that one, even over the first movie. I would, even though I love the first movie's one sheet a lot, but there's just something about Evil Dead 2. And obviously it gets a little bit more levity for me because it's the first one I ever watched, so, but I love it. And I love the flick. So, all right. So Todd's next one.
This is one I never seen as a kid, but I always wanted to rent it. Ghost Town.
Where the hell were you renting movies? I never seen this
Oh,
or
the mom and pop shop. Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never
Ghost.
seen this one.
The cover is just so freaking cool because I loved westerns. I loved horror movies growing up. I never got to rent this though, and I still haven't seen it. So I'm sure it's shitty, but I love the cover art. Man, the cover art looks fucking awesome.
Who is it? Oh, it's a Charles Band production.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. So you've
So
still never seen this.
I still never seen it. No. So if anybody's seen this, let me know.
These are great ideas for commentaries, by the way. Like you're coming up with all this great ammo for stuff we should do sometime.
Well, you want to know when I went to the rental store, I remember seeing this all the freaking time. I've seen it. What do you think, Plumpy? Is it shit or what?
He says it's cheap as fuck.
Okay, but
it's a Charles Band movie.
Yeah, but the cover art is just so freaking cool to me when I was a kid. I don't know why, but
would you not have a one sheet of this?
No, because it's probably a shit movie, but I think the cover art's awesome. So
yeah, I don't know. To me, I don't know if that would have. It definitely grabs your attention. It's hard not to see this, like if you're rifling through VHSs. But it also kind of looks shitty. It's not like really impressive art, in my opinion. Like the colors seem kind of
well,
washed
when you're
out.
a kid, dude, you're looking through kids' eyes, dude. I'm thinking about stuff that like popped out of me as a kid, not now.
This looks like Golden Book art to me.
It still looks cool though, I think.
No, it's a cool concept. If a little bit cheesy. I don't know. Ghost Town, just the title so generic, the good, the bad, the satanic.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I'm not coming from it as a 38, 37-year-old. So this is stuff.
Plemke didn't see Ghost Town. He was thinking of a wrong movie. And I don't know if Mac is saying it's
Mac
decent.
says decent. Okay.
Jeez, I don't know. But we should do this sometime. Mac, we should do this for a commentary sometime. We should just tackle some of these random ass Charles Band exploitation. There's no need to zoom in on this bullshit. I get it. We get the point.
I wasn't trying to. I was trying to X out of it.
I'll take care of it. I'm driving. Don't worry about it. All right. Okay. So this one's a good one, and Mac's in the chat, so it's very much relevant to him. But if we're grading on iconic covers that we
We're
saw
not.
in VHS stores, we are just whatever I think is grabbing
Whatever
me.
you liked, yeah.
But not necessarily the movie, because I shit talk this movie all the time. I can't deny this particular VHS cover. I feel like I saw it more than any other cover in the franchise. Halloween 5, the one with Jamie Lloyd on there with the clown, right? Even more than like 4. And I like the cover. It's very appealing because, 4, you just have the Michael face and everything else. Like, okay, that's whatever. I guess you could call Halloween 1 pretty iconic, and the 2 with the pumpkin, all that's cool. But when I used to see a cover that had Michael Myers and a little kid in like a clown costume, it does something to you as a kid. Like, oh, this is speaking to me, because he was chasing after a kid. Whenever it has to do with kids getting tormented, it's a little bit more appealing, or at least get your attention a little more, because he really wasn't doing that in any other movies, going after this little kid. So the movie's shit. Don't get me wrong, but that cover,
See,
man.
you hated it more than I did. I don't hate it as much. It's okay, but I can see. The mask looks like shit. So,
but that mask isn't on the cover.
yeah,
they
that's
just
true.
reused the old mask or whatever for both 4 and 5. But yeah, the movie's not good. And okay, so Riverman's up to bat, and I get a sneak peek of what he's gonna say here. Speaking of posters that are
Pieces.
way better than the movie,
I do really enjoy Pieces. Actually, it's
do
it's
you?
not it's not a shitty movie by any means. I enjoy it. Of course, it was coming off of when I was renting Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But look at the marketing. You don't have to go to Texas for a Chainsaw Massacre. It just it's everybody that saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre that wasn't.
I love it. It's got 2 taglines. It's exactly what you think it is, which is pretty funny.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, it's a great poster. Very sleazy. The film itself just didn't do a whole lot for me. But I'll definitely rewatch it again in the future. I watched it one time. But it's cool. It's very striking. And once again, this looks like a screenshot of a poster. Is this the actual VHS cover?
yes.
Why does the woman look like Rhonda Shear from USA? Up All Night.
Yeah, well, she was cut into pieces and sewn back up. So
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to rewatch that again, but that's pretty striking. I can imagine this is so a movie like Evil Dead, maybe I could get by, and you could rent that if you had like some conservative parents or grandparents, but there's no way you're getting a pass on this one. You're not slipping this one by grandma.
oh, and it's difficult when it comes to that.
All right, my next one. I think it's awesome. I think everybody should watch this flick. I've loved it for years. I think this is a flick that we rented at the public library back in the day, because we used to do that because we were classy. Extra. I wish I had a picture
That's
to
a
show
good
like
one.
Todd does,
That
because
is
I
a good
love
one.
Extra. I think obviously it's the demented answer. It's Britain's demented answer to ET, I guess. I don't really know what else it would be, but dude, it's the ET you don't want to meet in the back of a dark alley, because he's gonna reverse rape you. Dude, it's insane. And that cover, dude. Actually, the cover for Extra 2 is actually really creepy too.
Yeah.
Right. And sorry. Good night. Good night, Goat. Anyway, we're done talking about Whoopi Goldberg, so he's lost interest. That's what we were resorted to talking about. Riverman had to step away. We had to edit that shit out. But no, I love Extra. Dude, the creature itself is so creepy, and the way he looks on that VHS. And to me, that's a great example of hand drawn art, unlike that weird skeleton cowboy flick you were trying to pass off on me.
Oh,
Which,
come
by the
on,
way,
dude.
while you were away, like I said, that we edited it out, Mac was talking shit. He was like, man, he just Googled all these fucking random ass movies because he had like 2 minutes before the show.
No, dude. No, these are the ones that I liked as a kid, dude.
Yeah, okay.
You like
But anyway,
Ghost
yeah, I
Town?
love Extra.
Come on, that's an awesome artwork, man.
No, I think Extra is a great example of really great hand drawn art. And Dude, the teeth on Extro creep me out. Can you imagine that thing filleting you, Todd?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's a good movie though. When's the last time you watched Extro?
It's been a while.
It's a good movie.
20
I think
years.
it's a good movie. It's one of those ones that you watch as an adult. When you're a kid, you don't really recognize budget as much. Like, for example, I used to love the movie Mac and Me for some reason.
Yeah.
To me, it was like mind blowing. I was watching that, I was like 4 years old, like, oh, Mac and Me, great. Oh, they're drinking the Coca-Cola out of the planet. But always the dancing teddy bear at McDonald's. But now it's like I watch it now. I've watched it a couple years ago. And I'm like, dude, this is a trash. It is bad. It's not good. The acting is
It's not.
terrible,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
looks bad.
I
It
still
looks
like it
terrible.
though.
Dude, the Mac at least his parents. I think Mac and Me might blink. I can't remember if Mac and Me his eyes actually move, but his parents don't. You have those opening scenes with his parents when they die or whatever. They just have masks with still eyes and they're just wide open and they don't move. And it looks creepy and cheap at the same time. It's really weird. Mac, you're missing out. You should watch Extro. It's a great flick. It's a really good flick. The sequel's not so much. Extro 3, really bad, but just that first one, it's really good. All right. So, Todd's next one, it's one that we talked about while he was away, and I said that it should have made my honorable mentions.
Oh, it's probably in my top 5.
It has to be, and I regret not putting this on my list. I do.
Yeah.
I just kind of forgot about it.
Everything about this. I mean, the artwork's awesome. The severed head looking up. The green pop of the ReAnimator. Everything about this, I love.
I think a good movie cover is going to, number one, it has to be alluring. It has to grab you in. This has great use of color, and obviously there's some what the fuck isms all over it. Like, why is there a head on this guy's table with the eyes open, looking up? What is this green stuff? And look at the use of color. You have reds and the blues around the black and the green, and it's all popping. But I think, unlike Evil Dead 2, which it doesn't, but it gets a pass. It also has to represent what you're getting into really well. Like this
Yeah.
is actually from the movie to a degree, right?
Yeah.
This is stuff you're going to get. This is not going to bait and switch you at all, right? You buy this because you see a creepy head on a table and a weird mad scientist with some green ooze, and you're not going to be disappointed because this will show up in the movie, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still, I mean, one of the it's underlooked, I think, still to this day. Like
You
people really
think it
don't talk.
is?
Yeah. People don't champion ReAnimator like they should, I think.
I don't know. Maybe it should deserve a higher place in the pop culture ether, but I don't know. I feel like it gets some due for sure. Shout out to its ripped off Psycho score.
Yeah. But the
You
score
know,
is still great, man. I love it.
it's still great. It works. And you know what's funny is lots of movies. I mean, I think they straight up ripped it off, but lots of movies reuse scores and
Yeah.
reuse all the time. And I just think it's the fact that we're talking about Psycho. It's like
Mhm.
it's so identifiable. You're not really going to get much of a pass from people. And like I said, I think what was it what's it called? Charles Band's brother. I can't think of his. Is it Richard Band? What's his first name? I can't think of it. I can't remember it.
I think it's Richard Band, yeah.
I think when he
Isn't
was
it?
called out, he basically just saying, "Oh, it's a homage." I'm like, it's pretty carbon copy, but it's a great flick. It's a classic. You know, Herbert West, Jeffrey Combs. This guy is he's he's got a whole career of conventions because of this movie. He is like the Doug Bradley of Charles Band world.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next one. Okay, I don't have a picture like I said, but when I was scrounging thinking of things, I'm like, what are the movies I saw as a kid the most? What are the ones I loved? And which ones had good covers? Because there's tons of movies I loved that just didn't. I'm not going to put Batman on here. Batman 89 there's nothing to it. I'm going to put Gremlins 2, The New Batch. That's a great hand-drawn cover. And that, to me, we're starting to get to the end of that era where you're hand drawing art covers, right? Because you remember it, Todd. It's the executive chair, and you see the Gremlin's hand like sitting in the chair from behind, smoking the cigar and stuff. it's really striking. It's really awesome, and it
Yeah.
blows away the cover to the first movie,
No, I agree.
in my opinion. It's so great, and the movie's good too. Have you
I
watched that?
I watched that. I loved it as a kid. Not so much anymore, but I still enjoyed it.
I think it holds up better than the first one, in my opinion. I think he topped it. I think the fact that Joe Dante got commissioned to do a sequel and he did it his way, and he's like, I'm guessing his train of thought was making a sequel to Gremlins would be stupid, but if they're gonna pay me a boatload of money to do it, I'm gonna fucking go the exact opposite direction, and I'm gonna lampoon it. I'm gonna make a parody movie. I'm gonna make a live action Bugs Bunny cartoon, essentially. And I think it's so watchable. I think the cast in it's amazing. Obviously, you got guys like Dick Miller returning, and Zach Galligan and Phoebe Cates, who's beautiful, and then you have performances from like Christopher Lee, who's really brilliant in it. I think it's great. And to me, it's everything that embodied the late 80s in the era of Transformers and G.I. Joe and Ninja Turtles, where it was all about marketing and toys. And it's just like, hey, how do we make this different? We're gonna have all these different gremlins that all have different characteristics. We're gonna have but they didn't really make toys. They didn't do that. They didn't really market it. So I don't know what the purpose of it was, but it's awesome, man. You have the Dracula bat gremlin, you have the fruit vegetable garden one, you got the smart one, you got the trans one that ends up
Mhm.
making it with that guy at the end, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely weird. It's more memorable in the first one for me because I saw it so many times when I was a kid, but I still think the first one is better to this day.
That's so funny. Max in the chat, and he's saying Munchie covers. I almost put Munchie and Munchie Strikes Back because I had to cut them from my honorable mentions just because I was considering them because I saw them all the time, and they're very like, what is this thing? I have to rent this. I have to rent this, and we did rent them. But looking at them now as an adult, I'm like, I don't know. They're kind of ugly and fucking weird looking. Like, I don't know. Um, but there's something really crazy about those covers, and just that character in general. What a weirdo. All right, and then yeah, TMNT one that'll be on my honorable mentions, which that one should be on my list, but I didn't want to be too predictable. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about TMNT, but okay. So Todd's next one, is this what I think it is?
The Company of Wolves.
Oh,
I
dude, that's a
th-
sweet cover.
yeah, this one was always just jumped out to me as a kid. I think it's awesome. The
It's
cover. I mean,
disturbing.
the movie's okay, but I
Yeah,
mean, the cover's just freaking awesome in my
yeah, that's
opinion.
crazy
So
looking. Now,
yeah,
I've never seen the movie. Does this artwork represent what you get with the movie, for better or worse? Is it
yeah. As I remember, it.
because
I
some
mean, it's
movies
not
are
that
total
great.
bait and switch, right? We
Yeah,
should point those
yeah.
out.
Yeah, and I saw this when I was a kid, and I was not impressed. I haven't seen this. This is actually finally getting released. I believe this year or next year from Shout Factory, and I haven't
Oh,
seen this since the '90s when I
what year did
rented
it
it.
come out?
I think this came out in maybe the late '80s. I'd have to look it up. It's a Canon film, so
Do you think that
um,
Wolf was talking to the guy and like, you have the body, I have the brain?
yeah,
Because it looks like some Freddy 2 shit.
yeah. I
Now,
mean, it's just so striking.
is it like 98% of all werewolf movies and it's really boring until you get to a transformation
Yeah,
scene?
it's pretty slow if I remember right when I was younger, so I
Because
wasn't
I
too
can't
interested in it.
I can't think of a subgenre of horror movies that have a worse batting average
Yeah.
than werewolf movies, to be honest.
Yeah, when Howling's like the best movie, or American Werewolf in London, it's like, yeah,
Werewolf London is the best one. I
yeah,
I haven't seen Howling in years, to be honest. But dude, when I watched Howling, I'm like, this is boring. And I know it's got that transformation scene.
it's
It's
good.
it's great, but it's so long, and I feel like it just wasn't worth the build up, the rest of the movie around it. And I think his work in the werewolf was better. The transformation scene's better. Everything's
Yeah,
paced better.
I think
I love
American
that one.
Werewolf in London is a better movie. I mean, it's shot better. Everything about that movie's better. But
The comedic elements of it work really well for the movie. It keeps it exciting. But yeah. Okay, so my next one, dude, I don't even know if I don't know if it's a cop out for me to say this because I don't know if it's ad- inherently like a great cover, but you got maybe it's just purely nostalgia talking for me, but Pet Cemetery 2. I know there's really nothing too special about it, right? We got all this wacky stuff going on with cowboys at fucking sundown, bang bang, and all kinds of try hard
You're
stuff.
making fun of my ghost town, and you're going Pet Cemetery too.
Yeah, so but I get it. It's not inherently like a great cover. I'd say I'd argue Pet Cemetery 1 is the better cover and striking, right? Where you have
Yeah.
the eyes on the front and it's the blues. There's just something about it, man. On this one, you just have Edward Furlong and Drew Buddy standing next to each other, eye fucking us, and they got dirty faces and the shovel, and it's got the orange. It's pretty simple, but I mean, it's got Edward Furlong on it, so like, what's not to love?
Yeah.
I
No,
don't know
I hear you.
why. That one gets a
It's
pass.
great. I got the poster right up here, so I
And
understand.
that's part of the criteria is like when I have a poster of it, and there's just something about it. I get it. It's just I think it's the only movie on the list that isn't hand drawn or super clever. I don't have anything else where it's just like a picture of the cast members, right?
Mhm.
For reasons like that, I didn't put on flicks like Nightbreed, right? Because I used to look at Nightbreed all the time, way before I ever watched it and realized it wasn't a great movie. And I'm like, man, I want to watch this because it's by Clive Barker because it kind of looks like Hellraiser, but not Hellraiser. And who are these weird guys on the front? But at the end of the day, it's not a real great cover, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I love it, man. I love Pet Cemetery too, and I put it on here instead of Brain Scan, even if Brain Scan's probably a little bit better of a cover, to be honest with you. There's a little bit more going on.
Yeah.
Um, Ty went to the better movie. What can I say? All right. Ooh, Todd's next one's a really good one. Fuck, I'm not going to cheat. This would have been on my list if I would have thought about it. So it's automatically getting bumped to my honorable mentions, but this would be on my list if I could go back in time. Damn. How
Yeah.
iconic.
Yeah. It's iconic. I mean, it creeped you out as a kid with the axe, Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's a great movie too, which helps. And just I don't know, just that image, man, just creeps you out as a kid, man.
Yeah. No, dude, that I think it's a perfect cover. It's
Yeah.
really great. And like I said, it grabs you in. It's going to pull a kid in. Why? Because we're seeing Santa's arm. That's all you
Yep.
need coming out of a chimney. You're instantly hooked. And does it represent the movie very well?
Yeah.
I mean, it's you're getting what you're paying for with this, and this is the movie and the cover that all these Santa horror slasher flicks have just tried to emulate, right? And
Yeah.
nobody can do it right. I even part two's kind of got a really cool cover too, but it ain't like this
No.
because there's something
This is iconic right
yeah,
here.
there's something beautiful and iconic about the simplicity of it. You don't see a face, you don't see an actor, you just see an arm and an axe going down a chimney. Yeah, that's great, man. I wish I would have put this on my list. It's really, really good. And I have to remember to watch this holiday season too.
There's a lot of good Santa slashers out there, so yeah.
Is this I don't know if there's a lot of good Santa slashers.
Ah,
There's
there's
a
about
few.
5, right?
What is what is this one sheet going for?
I
You
have
know
no
more.
idea. I'd have to look on. I haven't even looked at that. I've been staying away from the 27 by 41s because the
They're hard to frame.
hard to frame. Yep.
They're just too difficult. And that really sucks because the best movies are from that era.
Yep.
It's really unfortunate. But with that said, would you hang this up in your house, even though it's Christmassy? Would you have it in your house all year long?
Absolutely.
All
100%.
year yeah, it's
100%.
awesome.
Yeah.
God, that's awesome. Oh, Mac said Monkey Shines. He loved that cover.
Ugh.
That's a good one. No, I think that's a good cover. It's a shit movie, but I
Uh,
that's a cover I used to see all the time as a kid. I'm
yeah,
like,
you see
what
it
the
all the
hell is
time,
this?
but it's shitty. The cover, I don't like the cover. So
Yeah, it's pretty basic, but I mean, it's one I would have considered just because I definitely saw that all the time. But I mean, it obviously grabbed
it's
Mac.
no Ghost Town. It's no Charles Band Ghost Town, which I dug as a kid.
All right. So I'm gonna go a little outside of the box for my next two. I'm gonna start with this one. It is not a particular cover per se, but somebody out there has to remember these. Plemke, Mac, you have to. My next selection is all of the Family Home Entertainment TMNT cartoon VHSs. The box art on all those, right? Like the shredder is splintered, right? All the different VHS they put out, we used to have all of them. So I don't know. Does anybody remember how cool those were? Do you remember those, Todd, seeing those in the store?
I
You
don't
see them
remember
pop up
those.
in you see them
I
pop up on eBay all the time,
if he
thrift stores,
showed them to me, yeah, I'd probably know. But yeah, I don't remember that.
wow, I mean, those are dude, Google them real quick. Just Google TMNT animated VHS. Any of them. There's so many like Enter the Shredder, I think was one. There's that classic one because back in the day they used to sell for a lot of shows.
Oh
They
yeah,
pull us.
I had a bunch of these. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
understand.
they used to sell these not quite a la carte. They would have
I
two
had the
episodes.
Cowabunga Shredder, and I'd have
Yeah, Hunga for Cowabunga.
Hunger. Yeah,
And it's crazy because I watched those like crazy, and whatever the episodes that were, because it has the episode that they're marketing on the cover, like, hey, we're selling this episode, and it always came with a bonus episode. And now it's weird. It's like if I were to watch these on Vudu, I expect to see the paired episode on the VHS right next to it because they just belong together. Oh, dude, and Max bringing up Goosebumps, Power Rangers, those are all in the same ilk. The Power Rangers too. I thought about that. They didn't make the list, but dude, I used to love those too. They didn't make the list just because I don't know why they didn't make the list. I just love the animation of the Turtles ones. I think they're really cool. But yeah, those are awesome. Nothing in particular. All right, so Todd's next one. What I can't tell what this is.
hold on.
Oh, no. What, you're cheating? What?
No, I'm good
We already
now.
saw it.
Okay.
You trying to hide your porn, dude? Like,
No,
don't
no,
do it yet. Don't do it
I was
yet.
trying to blow it up a little bit. Of
Like
course.
Alex Jones, dude. You're gonna see like a browser up there with like a trans porn. Was that real? Where he had like the people that wasn't
Oh,
doctored, was it?
I have no idea, dude.
It was in his browser and someone caught it and he closed it real quick. You could see
Every
like
once in a while, I listen to him for a good laugh, but that's about it.
no, this is an awesome picture,
It's
dude.
it's in my top 3.
I
I mean,
didn't
I love this. I love this
I didn't
artwork.
think about it. Like I said, I was so overwhelmed. Like there's just so many movies flying at you. It's really hard to this easily could have made my list, and it's really iconic. And it's not hand drawn, which was common of the era, but
Yeah.
it's so great.
Yep.
It I don't know, it's fantastic. It's great use of color, and it kind of gives you exactly, I mean, it doesn't bait and switch you, right? Once you
Oh,
watch the movie, you understand that this all makes sense, but at the same time, it's leaving a little bit to the imagination, like the fog, like, ooh, what is this movie about? I get there's a fog. You can see it coming from the door, but you see like a swamp thing hand coming out. Like, what is this?
yeah. I love how you see like the black backdrop in the background. You really don't see anything other than the door and the hand, which is
Yeah.
awesome with the light coming out. And it's just this is exactly what the movie is. So
Like anything with branding, with titles, with catchphrases, you want to go for simplicity. You want to strike that magic mark. And to me, this isn't too busy. I love covers like this and Silent Night, Deadly Night way more than most busy covers. I don't care how
yeah,
detailed and beautiful they are and crazy they are. Um, it just really, this really, really hits home. Let's read this tagline: bolt your doors, lock your windows. There's something in the fog. It's perfect.
yep,
So simple,
yep.
right? If the picture didn't already tell you, the tagline does. No, Max throwing out some really good ones. Yeah, the stuff,
Stuff's really
and
good.
that's the stuff is a iconic cover. It's a fantastic cover. I don't love the movie. I think it's okay. It's all right movie for me. The
Yeah, the
covers,
cover's better than the movie,
the
but
cover's definitely better than the contents, dude. Same thing. You know what? I'm gonna say it right now as an honorable mention. Scanners. I
yeah,
didn't. I just thought about it now. Scanners is not a good movie. I've never liked Scanners. I've always found it to be boring. I would never even try and touch the non Cronenberg sequels because of Cronenberg's can't even keep me interested. But dude, what a fucking cover that is.
yeah,
What a cover. Okay, so my next one. Okay, I'm gonna keep the theme for one more time. One more time. I'm gonna do the X-Men animated series home videos. Like I said, there's a bunch of them, but do you remember any of those? Plemke, I know you got me. Mac, I know you got me. Those were awesome, right? Um, I think the Night of the Sentinels, the first 2 episodes, those didn't have really good covers. Those were the ones that you got from Pizza Hut, right? They had the promotion going with the show, and they were just like black with like some reds styling of the X on there. Pretty basic. But when you get into all the other episodes, they were fantastic. Till Death to Us Part 1 and 2, stunning. I absolutely love that stuff. Yeah, you've seen them. Hold on. You've got the X-Men DVDs. Yeah, but those VHS are great. And in fact, if any of you guys like collecting toys, I've slowed down and all that stuff. Like I said, I have to really be selective on collectibles I buy now because I don't really have a lot of room anymore. One thing I'm still collecting is they've started releasing um Hasbro and Marvel Legends put out a throwback line to the animated series. So they're putting out the animated series X-Men little by little. And it's not too overwhelming because I'm just kind of buying them as they go on pre-order. They're all stretched out by months. And when they come into stock, or sorry, they come in VHS boxes. They look just like the VHS boxes from the day. And so I got those on my shelf. They look so great, man. Very, very cool. And what else is something else on that topic I wanted to say to you? Oh, and they just announced in 2023 they're going to start the Spider-Man animated series line in the same way. Even though I don't think I don't remember having any Spider-Man VHSs. I'm sure they existed, but I'll eat that shit up. But clearly the X-Men ones were produced in a mass quantity, kind of like the Turtles, and even to a lesser degree the Power Rangers, because go thrift store hunting, that's what you're going to see everywhere is those shows. So anyway, okay, Todd's next one. Damn, man, he's coming out strong. This is one I should have put too.
Return of the Living Dead Part 2. So
Yeah, iconic.
as much as I love the first Return of the Living Dead cover, I love the sequel cover better. I mean, that's just my opinion, just because I'm not a huge fan of Fright Night, but this is like a Fright Night kind of. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's the same guy who did the Fright Night cover, but it's very, very similar, and I love this one the most. So,
I would be willing to say it is the same guy. And fun fact, Fright Night's on my honorable mentions. And Fright
okay.
Night, this honestly is just as good. I just didn't think about it. But Fright Night, it originally was on my main list, but I had to bump it. It's like I had to have fucking 10. So it's like, but Fright Night and this, they're gorgeous. And fun fact, the script that I wrote for this one feature that maybe someday I'll get to make, me and my buddy Randall commissions Josh James of R Rated to draw a concept, to draw a poster, right?
Hmm.
And these are the comps I gave him. I said we want something kind of similar to Return of the Living Dead 2 and Fright Night, and something with the eyes and the face, right? Something that's materializing, in the sky, like all that stuff is so classic. And
Yep.
what he did was kind of similar. So like if you guys were to ever see it's framed, it's on my wall. It's a Josh James original. It's right outside that door. He did it. We got this creepy mountain, and he's kind of got the face materializing in the sky. I would say it's a lot more subtle than this, but the same kind of gist, but it's awesome. Yeah, Fright Night's just as good, man. I don't see why I couldn't pick between them. Is it just
No,
because you like
I
this movie
understand.
better?
Probably because I like the movie better. Like, I'm not a huge Fright Night fan. I've enjoyed it as I gotten older because I wasn't a huge fan of Fright Night, but something about this. I've always been a fan of this movie. I love this movie so much. So
Yeah, and the first one's great too, but there's
yeah,
something about this. It's really, really striking. So my final in my 10 anyway, we'll shoot the shit on some honorable mentions and stuff because we're running a little short tonight. But my final movie is not a movie I grew up with, admittedly. I didn't see it till just a couple of years ago. And it's just one I slept on. I had seen the VHS back in the day, but like I said, it's just something I slept on overall. But ever since I watched this movie a couple years ago, when I watched it, I'm like, I like this. I don't know how high I rank it because I had to absorb it for a while, but I grew to love it more and more and more. And I even in a couple years, I watched it again. I watched it a couple of times, and it just gets better and better and better. And now it's like, dude, the fucking art clicks for me, and that's Videodrome. I love how
oh
striking is
yeah,
that? I think Videodrome, the cover almost looks like a paperback novel.
yep, yep.
But just that image of James Wood animate James Woods looks awesome in there, coming out of the white noise of the TV. Dude, I that's I don't know why that didn't make me hard as a kid.
I'm with you on that. And that's definitely one shoot worthy too. James, yeah, Video
It's
Drum is amazing.
it's and it's become my favorite Cronenberg movie by
Yeah,
a pretty
I can
healthy
see that.
margin. It
Yeah,
has. Because I think I think there's only one or two Cronenberg movies I haven't seen now. I've seen just about almost all his stuff, and I think Videodrome's the best. It's the one that I could see myself rewatching as the years go by,
Yeah, I
right?
rewatch that quite a bit, maybe once a year or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, I don't even like Scanners. I can't lie and say I like Scanners. It's boring, and and I've been watching his modern stuff. Right, I watched Eastern Promises, and that was kind of it wasn't a bad movie. It's just like you think I thought it was gonna be way better than what it was. And then I watched History of Violence
What do you think?
about a month ago. I remember when I watched Eastern Promises, you said History of Violence was better, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. So I rented Eastern Promises. I liked it, but I thought it was about the same. I thought it was like a 6 out of 10.
Oh, I thought it was way better than Eastern Promises.
It may be, but we're splitting hairs. Maybe it was, but I'm saying, but I was once again expecting to be blown away. Like, oh, this is gonna be great, and it was good. But maybe it's just my hype for it was just too much. I don't know, but yeah, I mean that's kind of my main list. We can shoot the shit for a little bit. We definitely have some time to
You
talk
still got
about
my
honorable
last
mentions.
one, man.
Oh, well, fuck your last one. Sorry. Well, then pull it up. It's not ready. You got to have it on the thing. All right. Oh, dude, how did I forget about this?
Yeah, Creep
Yeah,
Show is my number one. I love this poster. A lot of people like the
bro.
comic book poster, but this one is just amazing. It's so striking, dude, with the behind the box office and everything. This is
Uh-huh.
my number one, man. I love this. I love this poster
This
artwork.
is actually your number one. Like they're actually in order.
Yes. Yes. Well, not in
Wow.
order. No, 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 not in order. But I saved the best for last. Let's just say that. So
Okay. No, it's really really good. I like the Creep Show 2 box art too.
it's great.
I
No,
think
it's great. But I something about this one that just I've always grown up loving this. Walking into the video store and seeing this, and I'm like, God, man, that's awesome.
no, that is
So
great. Yeah, and I knew Todd was going to think of a bunch of stuff that I just couldn't think about, but I think Creep Show is deserving to be on here. And I want to say, gosh, was there some I feel like there was a couple of things that I thought you were going to have and you didn't have. Maybe they'll be on your honorable mentions and you'll
I
jog my
got a
memory.
bunch. I got a bunch on my honorable mention. I got some
Well,
really weird ones on my honorable mentions.
I mean,
I, I
I kind of already mentioned mine, so I think there's only two I didn't mention. Can I just mention them real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
Because I already mentioned Brain Scan was kind of an honorable mention. Fright Night could have been on the list, just didn't make it. Uh, Monster Squad.
Yeah, Monster Squad. Yeah.
I used to look at that VHS of Monster Squad all the time. Once again, very appealing. You have kids because the kids is going to appeal to a kid, but then in the sky above it, you see like the Dracula and the Wolfman and all that stuff, and it's like, God, this looks so awesome. And the movie doesn't live up. It doesn't do a lot for me, but I put that on there. And then my other honorable mention, this one's going to sound silly. This one's totally different from the rest of the movies in the list, but it's a VHS that we got on Christmas the year after it came out. So it's probably when VHS was brand new. And I think as far as family movies, like Hollywood family movies, I think the actual cover, as far as a marketing standpoint, is perfect. And I think a lot of movies kind of copy this template, but it's Beethoven, that original Beethoven movie where you have Beethoven front and center and he's coming up under the table and they're all sitting at the Thanksgiving table in the background, just the way it's all positioned. And you
Oh yeah.
see Charles Grodin at the head of the table, like with this disgusted look on his face. I don't know why, but I just think the video, it's iconic for me. I think I've seen that video. It was in our house, like as long as I can remember. So it gets a pass for me.
I got a
So,
handful. Honorable mentions.
oh yeah. These are definitely
Dead Alive. It's fantastic.
definitely
Iconic.
everybody knows, even if you haven't seen the movie, everybody knows this cover.
Next one I have is Night of the Demons 2. I love this
That's
cover.
great. Is Night 1 on here?
No, I think 2's better than 1.
Yeah.
Um,
Angela's throwing another party, trick or treat sucker. Not as
First
good as
Night of
the
the Living
first
Dead.
tagline. Yeah,
That's
this is
classic.
classic.
Um,
Dude, I'm shocked you didn't have any
Tourist
Dawn or
Trap.
Day of the Dead VHS. You're going too fast. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm surprised you didn't have any Dawn or Day VHSs.
Day I would, but
I
like
think Tourist.
I'm thinking about like striking me as a kid. Like these are the ones that just like jumped out at me. Like okay, I want to see what this is all about, that sort of thing. It's not stuff that necessarily is good or not, but
And
I'm
this
not
is
a
a
huge
Char
fan of Tourist Trap either. So
I am. And this is a Charles
I know
Band
you are.
production. Isn't it
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Is this Charles
yeah,
Band?
yeah.
And dude, I didn't even know this movie was PG. What the hell? This is before PG-13 existed. But it's always wild to see movies like this PG. I think Tourist Trap is good. I think it's very creepy. This is a movie that I first watched during those days when I was like 4 and 5 on Creature Features late at night. I was seeing that as early as Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff, and I think it holds up. This is one that I
The
don't
night Evelyn
recall.
came out of the grave. This was in the 70s. Yeah, this was pretty interesting. Yeah, it's
It
such a cool cover. So
But hold on, before you move on, let's talk about this for a second because the worms are waiting. Uh, it's weird because it's like a weird mix of it looks like painted, hand drawn, but the face almost looks photographed.
yeah,
It's a mix of both, and it kind of
yeah,
makes it kind of the contrast is wild because the face looks like a photograph, which makes the bloody stump on his neck look extra fake. And then I don't know, it's definitely eye appealing. I don't.
it is.
I, why is it
I
in
mean,
quotations?
I I don't know. The next one, of course, zombie.
Yeah, I would have guessed this would have been on your main list personally.
It is, but I'm trying to think of like different stuff that I haven't talked about every.
It, this is a great example of one that pulls you in instantly and it tells you exactly what you're in for. It's straight up called Zombie. What do they show? A fucking zombie. And look at what it's telling you. We are going to eat you. The dead are fucking. It's just pretty much you get what you pay for on this one.
The greatest looking zombie, in my opinion, is the worm eating zombie or the worm zombie. This one I actually love, American Gothic. I know it's weird, but I love this as a kid. Uh,
Yeah.
family slays together, stays together,
And
but
no
with the family in
spoilers
the
because
background.
I ordered this. This is incoming from my order on Shout
I
Factory.
enjoy it, man.
Because I never saw it either. I think it's a great striking photo. Obviously, it's a play on American Gothic, the painting, but
Yep,
it's just got it's a feast for the eyes. Like there's all kinds of stuff you're looking at in this poster, and
yep.
even some Where's Waldo action, like focusing in on the kids in the window up there, the family. It's very cool.
That's definitely an honorable.
Mac, that's a great one. Night of the Creeps is an honorable one too.
Night of
That's a
the
great
Creeps is very good. No, I
uh
agree.
and yeah, exactly. All right, yeah, this one's iconic too.
Spit on Your Grave, of course.
I think this one's just like I think this one's iconic just for the mere fact that it's like the prototype of all these types of movies.
Yep.
I feel like, all the covers that came after this just kind of try and rip it off. It did it first, it did it the best type of thing.
My next one is going to be The Burning.
Okay.
So this was the VHS cover of it.
Yeah. See,
Where he's just red.
I don't think it's necessarily that striking. It almost looks like an episode of Cops, like a video like of Cops on VHS.
Um,
Don't move too fast. I want to talk about these a little bit. Like what is
okay.
it about that one?
A guy just getting burned up. It's just crazy, dude. Just you're renting a VHS cover of just some random guy getting burned up. I mean, that's just cool. The movie's great, by the way. I love The Burning, but I mean, the cover is just
Interesting.
striking, dude. You're walking in the video store and you see that shit. You're like, what the hell is this?
It looks maybe it grabs your attention, but it looks like I said, this could be like a home video release of the show Rescue
It,
911 or
dude,
Cops or something.
It didn't matter back then in the 90s, 80s, and
I think
90s,
I agree
dude.
with Mac. The other Burning cover that I've seen is better.
I like this one because it's just weird.
Plemke,
The
that's a great honorable mention too. In the Mouth of Madness is fantastic. That's a great cover.
This one I loved as a kid. Hellgate did.
Oh, that's very striking.
Yeah. So this
Why
was
that
special
zombie
effects
looks,
master of Hellraiser and Hellbound.
dude,
Yeah.
he looks like he's coming.
Yeah.
Why is
So
his eye?
I haven't seen this in a long ass time, dude. But I love this cover, dude. This VHS cover is fantastic.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I've never seen Hellgate, so apparently I
I
need to
can't
finally
remember
watch
it,
it.
dude. I don't even think they re-released it on like a format. I think it was just on VHS.
I
So
love that. I didn't even notice that you were just quoting the top of it. Hellraiser and Hellbound. Speaking of which, side note, This movie is so old. This must be before. I'm guessing this is probably before Hellraiser 3. I kind of wished if they were gonna keep the Hellraiser franchise going like they did, they should have kept going with the different variation names. Like they, Hellraiser. Then I know they had Hellbound, but then they had to put Hellraiser 2 on there. No, I think they should have did Hellraiser, Hellbound, then like Hellbent, right? They should have kept that theme. Kind of like they pussed out with Die Hard as well.
Yeah.
Like I wish they would have did the same. I liked Die Hard. I liked what Die Hard. It should have been called what? Die Harder. It
Die Harder, yeah.
not Die Hard
2.
2, Die Harder. It should have been Die Hard, Die Hard, Die Harder, and then we would have had Die Hard with a Vengeance, because Die Hard 2 is the only film in that franchise, for better or worse, that doesn't have its own unique title without it, and it's got a number. And people are just for some reason afraid that people aren't gonna like associate it with I don't know. Anyway.
Next one, I got 3 more, sorry. 555. This was a shot in VHS movie.
I feel like you're trolling me, Todd. This is shit. This doesn't look good.
No, this is awesome, dude. Look at that, dude. That cover's awesome, dude.
It looks shot on VHS, that's for sure. What do you guys think in the chat? How do you guys feel about this one?
555. I mean, this is something you're walking down the aisle in the 80s and you see this shit and you're like, "Oh my god, I got to rent this." I mean, that's what I'm going based off. I'm not going based off of what's the, best.
Yeah, I'm looking at a little bit of everything, but this from a graphical design standpoint, it's a fucking mess.
It's awesome, dude. The pink cover, dude. It's very striking.
I think it's an eyesore, but
no, you got the
I didn't even
right
see
here.
that. Yeah, see, but I don't think a movie should be that busy. I should be able to notice that a lot easier. That shouldn't have to be pointed out, but that's pretty crazy. They're getting away with that on the front cover, though.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? Next one. Hold on. I need to.
Cabin Fever, the Plemke. That's a good one too, and that's also one of the references I gave to Josh too, because they also do the same thing with the eyes, right, in the sky.
Night Terrors did.
Oh, I don't remember this cover.
I love the cover, dude. With a snake coming out of his eyes, and with the fangs or whatever in his eyes. I always thought that was cool when I was younger.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've never seen this. I don't think I've ever seen this on display either.
October, I think it was an anthology, if I remember right. It's been a while. I think they came out in the early 90s. The last one, of course, is iconic. I mean, I've talked about it many times.
I said Evil Dead 2, Plemke, on my list.
Sleepaway Camp 2.
Okay, so I thought this was going to be on your list. I just knew this was going to be on your main list.
And you know what? And I tried to mix it up a little bit because I want to do stuff I didn't talk about all the time on, favorite, covers or movies.
Yeah,
I mentioned all these movies before,
and that's why I didn't put on TMNT. I wanted to put TMNT 2, Secret of the Ooze, on there because I don't think the movie's as good as the first one. It doesn't hold up, but talk about a VHS that was iconic back in the day with the white and the cutout 2 and them all like in the 2, and it really popped off the shelves. But yeah, this one, I think this is a great example of the bait and switch, because you don't even have the same fucking actress there on the front, right?
Oh no, yeah, that's not Pamela Springsteen.
No, and you know, she doesn't have a Freddy. There's no Freddy gloves in this movie. There's no Jason masks. It's 100% bait and switch. Was it when you go camping, just take the essentials? Okay, so
and you did mention this Day of the Dead cover is still one of my favorites. I love this Day of the Dead cover.
I think this would have been in your top. It's very cool.
It is, but man, we're doing memorable for me. I'm not doing top. I mean, the only top one I did was Creep Show and maybe The Fog, but yeah. So I don't know that one.
I think that one deserves a top. Yeah, it just would have been hard. Like going, even if I had to go back and amend my list.
Camp was very.
I used to see this one all the time.
Yep. When I was a kid, Mortuary.
What about Slaughter High? Where's that?
I don't. Okay, have you seen this movie? Because I was looking this up yesterday, and I've never seen this movie, but I was always wanted to rent it when I was.
Is this Toby Hooper Mortuary?
Yeah, it's not very good.
Oh,
this one. Good. Have you seen this one? Confessions of a Serial Killer.
No, who's that actor?
I always saw this when I was a kid, and I wanted
bootleg
to watch it.
Hannibal Lecter.
Yes, No, this one came out in the 80s. Yeah, I think this came out in the 80s. But I always wanted to rent this when I was a kid. I never ended up getting to see it because it
Oh,
never got a actual release on. I don't think on
I'm reading the
Blu-ray
back
or
of that.
DVD.
It's based on the grisly true story of Henry Lee Lucas, one of
Yeah.
the nation's most brutal killers.
Yep.
Uh, okay, Daniel Ray Hawkins, based on Lucas. Okay, they don't want to use his real name.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the releases that came out never came into the States, which sucks. But I don't know that one.
I would definitely watch this movie, but I don't think it's a very good cover.
It's not a great cover, but this is what drawn me in when I was a kid. Of course, Dawn of the Dead. Of course, Bloody New Year
That's
drew
a
me in when I was a
that's a
kid.
good one. That looks like the Alice Cooper album, Hey Stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, jeez. It's like
I got
part claymation, part.
uh 976 Evil. I love this one when I was a kid.
There you go. It's Stephen Jeffries, man.
Yeah, Steven. Yeah. What's you, shit.
I don't think it's that good of a cover for me. I don't really. I thought this
Extremes
was
of
going to be on your
Monster
top
2.
10. I thought this was going to be on your top 10.
It's great. I think it's really cool. I actually put Critters in there too.
Really?
Yeah, I love that cover. I think
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Critters is pretty iconic. Where do they come up with this stuff?
And Mountaintop Motel Massacre. I don't know why. This always creeped me out, dude. I was always creeped out by this.
All right, so I've never seen this. Let's talk about this for a little bit. What is
It's
this movie? Is it any good?
no.
And it
I think
looks
this came out. I don't know who put this out. Was Code Red or whatever, but yeah, it's not very memorable movie. I
is
think
it-
the cover's better than the actual. It's just the old granny that just freaks me the fuck out. I mean, it's
is
just
she
creepy.
actually in the movie?
Yeah, there's like there. If I remember right, I watched it as a kid, dude, and he was watching through child's eyes, and yeah,
Yeah.
it always creeped me out with the crazy grannies and shit like that. So
Going back to Critters real quick, Mac is saying that he actually doesn't like the first one. He likes the third cover in Critters 2 better. I think
Critters
I
2
don't
covers
Critters
awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's a
good,
great the Critter Ball. It's really, really cool.
but I
Uh
don't know. This is really cool. I think.
yeah, it's definitely striking. Look at that Tim Curry knockoff.
Yeah.
Gus. Did you have any more?
Uh, Driller Killer.
Okay.
I thought was great. Of course, Return of the Living Dead, which is iconic, but I was trying to change it up a little bit, and then yeah, I think that's
Yeah, there's a
oh,
lot.
Video Dead. I love the Video Dead cover art too.
That's
So
really cool. I don't think I've seen that. That's really cool.
it's a shitty zombie movie from yeah the 80s/90s,
Dude,
and
if
yeah,
you and
it's
I produced a really bad movie and we knew it was really bad after it was done, like, well, shit, what do we do to salvage this? Let's put all our money in a great cover like this.
yeah, the cover's great, and so is Rabid. Rabid has a great cover. Marilyn Chambers or
Yeah,
whatever.
there's something striking
Yeah,
about it. It's simple.
yeah. So
Rabbids. I never saw that. I never saw the Soska remake, but I like Rabid. That's a good.
I like Rabid. I never saw the Soska either. So
Plemke saying Shocker had a cool cover.
Shocker did, yeah.
That's not a good movie, but Shocker definitely. It's just one. I don't know if it's a great cover or if it's just one I saw so much. I can't quite tell. But people speaking of like Cabin Fever and all those like covers with the eyes, People Under the Stairs was another one too. Like, ooh, the eyes in the sky, the skull. You know,
I
lot
don't
of
like
flicks.
People Under the Stairs. I think that's shitty, but I mean, a lot of people love that movie.
I
So
always liked it. I always liked it. Um, Texas 3 covers better, and Critters 2 is better, is what I meant. Oh, Texas Chainsaw 3? That's just like the close up of Leatherface and the chainsaw, right?
is
Well,
that the one
it's
where he's
just
in drag? No,
no.
no, that's
I think it's just like a
that's
real
four.
up. It's a close up of
Yeah,
his face, and
yeah.
I think it's fairly simple. But anyway, do you guys have any recommendations? What else did we miss? Anthropophagus. What is that?
Yeah, Anthropophagus is a pretty cool cover.
Plemke, I almost put Chud on there. I don't like the movie. I've said this before on the podcast. I've never been able to finish Chud. I always fall asleep because one of these days I want to be able to say I fucking finished that movie, and it's just so boring. But I love the cover's great, absolutely great. Damn, is that Bobcat Goldthwait eating his large intestine?
That's Anthropophagus, dude.
That looks really cool.
Yeah,
that's striking.
Yeah, it's a cool cover.
Yeah, that's really cool.
There's so many intriguing covers out there. I mean, it can go either way.
Plemke had said Ghost Ship. Yeah.
Ghost Ship, yeah.
I guess it is a cool cover. It's just the movie's so shit. I'm blinded by it. It was definitely cool for the time because during that time you weren't getting covers that look like that because that one is more of an animated thing, right?
Are we talking about the Ghost Ship that came out?
Yeah, with Gabriel Byrne and the one we saw with John.
Oh, okay. No, that's yeah, that is good. That Ghost Ship. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know if there was a original one of that. So
no, I mean, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of stuff that we missed. Max talking about Puppet Master movies. Showgirls had a cool cover. MASH is a pretty iconic cover, actually.
yeah.
The movie, absolutely.
Yeah, great movie.
Tales from the Crypt, the movie Tales from the Crypt. My mom said that. Yeah, that was a good cover too. That's pretty iconic. What else do we miss? Yeah, I mean, Prince of Darkness, all the Carpenters. I can't think of even Body Bags is got a good cover, and I'm not what
Escape from New York is an awesome cover.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite cover. Absolutely. And I don't know why I didn't put Escape from New York on here. Like I said, I was just too overwhelmed. I think I should have. That definitely belongs on it, which is funny because Alien and Aliens, I love those. They don't make the cut. They're just, they don't make the cut. Escape from New York.
Yeah,
though,
it's like
100%.
Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. I can't make the cut. It's like you've heard it a million damn times.
Well, it's also there's just better covers. They definitely do their job and stuff like that, but I don't think they could make the top 10. Blocko says love Alice Sweet Alice poster. That is really great.
It is really, yeah.
That's a really good one. You want to pull that up real quick, or can you not share it?
I will do it. Hold on.
Alice Sweet Alice is wonderful. I know there's more that we're forgetting. I remember Chud 2 looking pretty good. I can't quite remember.
Oh, what I pulled up was some nasty porn. So
wait, what?
Some 70s porn is Alice Sweet Alice.
Oh, Chopping Mall. That's pretty good. Sleepaway Camp. The first one's a great cover.
First one is fantastic.
That's a fantastic cover with the Adidas shoe and the hand drawn. I personally like that better than Sleepaway Camp 2 cover, but I understand why. But Sleepaway Camp 2 was iconic. You used to see it all. I see it all the time too.
Yeah,
I see it all the time too. Are you gonna show us the Alice Sweet Alice?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. God, I can't find a. Let me find a large. Keep talking.
Okay, Dolly Dearest. What about that one? You remember that?
Yeah, Dolly Dearest is pretty.
Dolly Dearest. Oh, you know what? I actually don't think the original. I don't know what the original VHS cover of Rawhead Rex was because I feel like there's a ton of them, and I don't know what the original one is. And I think the one sheets were better than the VHS covers, but that's a bad movie. But it had some cool art floating around there. Alice Sweet Alice is great. That's a good one.
There's just so much cool shit out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us what you enjoyed as a kid. I mean,
I think Todd named a really weird and lame Amityville movie, but Amityville 2, I love that cover.
Yeah.
I think it's great. It's just a variation of the first one. The first one's great too, but I mean, those are really iconic. I like the Amityville 2 a lot. Exorcist, 100% Blocko. Exorcist, for what it is, it's super striking. The use of blacks and just sort of that silhouette shadow of the actual Exorcist, like looking up at the house and stuff. It's perfect. Chopping Mall is great too. But anyway, I think that about wraps it up. Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up, Todd, before we start exiting out?
I got a screaming kid upstairs going crazy.
Yeah, so we're gonna call it. Maybe next weekend we'll do something music focused. I don't want to do this exact same topic just flopped with music. I don't want to do that, but we should do something with music. But we'll figure it out. And no, Black Adam does not make the cut. But anyway, so if you guys are new to the channel, if you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like the video, place a comment to help us out with the outgoes. Click the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and likewise, if you guys are watching on Twitch, please give us a follow there. That's pretty new on that side of things. We're trying to build that up. And if you want to support us any further, we do have a Teespring where you can purchase merchandise. We have a Patreon, and if you're new, we have a whole bunch of other content. If you guys have never stopped by before, we got our film commentaries. We got the cinema enemas that myself and Zach do. There's Mac and Zach, the Came Gang, as they call it. There's just an abundance of stuff. I envy anybody that comes across our channel 10 years late and has a treasure trove of content to dig through. So we are out. Thank you, Blocko. Thank you, Plemke. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate all the support, and we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Later.